I'm the only one here. It's showing me that nobody's here yet. Oh, someone's in here. Hey, Melissa, how's it going? Welcome to the after party, not so party. I still don't have any popcorn. Hey, there's Tangent Trails as well. I'm sorry, it didn't show me that you were. I didn't mean it. It didn't show me that anybody was in when I said that. I think there's a delay. Our internet is ran by hamsters out here in Montana, so it's really slow. So thanks everybody for joining with the live or the premiere and this. I'm just trying new things and trying to see how they do. So I just thought this would be kind of fun, and so I was pretty happy with turnout so far. So what did you guys think of the video? How was it? What did you think of the spot? Any questions or anything? Glad you enjoyed it. How many days were we out? So we were actually out for 4 days. So that was the first day. I am doing them one day at a time, mainly because I don't have enough space to edit it all in one video. And as you can see, even the first day was 26 minutes. And then the next day, the day two, which I'm still editing, I've got a lot of footage of the climb and stuff. So interestingly enough, a lot of footage of the climb, not a lot after the climb because of the we were all beat afterwards. So, but yeah, so we did the 4 days and 3 nights. That first night we made it all the way back to right before the uh, actual pass itself. So it's, I want to say the pass is, the actual final push is only it's like 1,500 or 2,000 feet, and but it's pretty much just in like about like a mile and a half or so. So it's pretty much just straight up the switchbacks, and we went a little bit slower this time. In the past, I've been able to do it in about an hour and 45 minutes, but it's a slog, and the air gets pretty thin up there. So, but overall, yeah. So all 4 days though, we had really good weather. Really, the only kind of rain we had was that first day's storm, which was pretty light rain, a little bit of thunder in the background, and then we had a little bit more that night. And then on the second day or third morning, I'm sorry, um, believe it or not, we had some hail up there. So, but we were in our tents for that, and it was pretty minor. So, but yeah, it was pretty steep. Um, Although with the switchbacks, it's definitely helpful, which is something that I don't think exists in the East Coast. Even though it's maddeningly slow to be going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, it definitely is a lot easier. Any monsoon season in Montana? Montana doesn't really have what I would call a monsoon season. It does have periods where it can be wetter than normal. In fact, the last couple of years, we've had some pretty late season snow in the spring and early spring rain showers. And so it's been pretty wet. Of course, 2 years ago, we had the massive flooding event that closed down part of Yellowstone and also still has several parts um, closed down. Uh, but yeah, generally speaking, it's actually pretty arid here, especially the part that I'm in. We have cactus naturally growing out here, stuff. So it's actually pretty dry. Okay, so I figured this was going to come up, and I do have to make sure I'm not throwing her under the bus, but also making everybody realize that I'm not a total jerk. Her pack was by far the heaviest. The reason for that is that despite my offering her several pieces of much lighter equipment, including a pack rental, I offered a different tent, and other items. She was very insistent on using her own gear, which I can certainly understand. You pay for the gear, you want to use it. It wasn't, I think, as heavy as it looked because she is kind of tiny. I want to say we weighed it with food, without water. Excuse me. I think it came in at like 35 pounds. Excuse me. Which, for comparison, mine with everything was 25 pounds. So yes, her pack was a little heavy, and yes, she definitely regretted it on the way up the pass, but she made it. She made it. She did really well. I definitely got to hand it to her. I was a little bit concerned, but she's pretty tough and she's pretty determined, and she's kind of a badass. And she definitely made it up there. So she wasn't moving as fast as maybe we were, but definitely was going a little bit slow. And I do totally agree. It was pretty respectable for her to use her own gear. I just wanted to make sure people knew that I did offer her a lighter solution. Yeah, 34 pounds. I mean, it's not really too bad considering all things. Even her pack. We had some issues. I think the pack fit her. I probably would have gone with a different pack, but it worked really well for her. So, and that's just me being a gear snob, to be perfectly honest. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think we get hung up on the gear weight thing, and everybody has their own comfort zone in what they want to bring and what they don't want to bring. And so I think that, it's just up to that person. If you can do it, great. I'm just at the point now in my life where I'm 44 and I don't bounce back as well. So it's really more about um, uh, being able to get through it without dying. That's pretty awesome. Still made it though, right? And I mean, you know, Crow, yeah, nobody worries about too much about that guy. Excuse me. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, no, Crow is pretty impressive. I like busting his chops a little bit. Um, but definitely like him. Moon Juice, I like that trail name. That is awesome. I would love to hear the story behind that. I hope it's better than Ghost Mule. Oh, you are not old, Melissa. Not. It's just numbers. You're still out there. You're still getting it done. You know, my hiking partner and art teacher, uh, Phantom. He's 72 and he's still kicking hard. Nah, that's 52. That's still young. So yeah. Day and everything went really good. I definitely had some. This has been a season of gear failures for me. So my very first trip out, I had my air mattress and my pillow sprung leaks. This time I had different kind of leaks. I did spring a leak in my Canuck bag. That was my fault. I tossed it down on the ground and there was a sharp object there and it made this little pinprick at the bottom, and it didn't work out. It didn't hold up too bad. Held up too bad. It it didn't leak unless I put a lot of pressure on it, and if I put a lot of pressure on it, it would piddle on my shoe. So it's going to get put in timeout for peeing on my footwear. And then the other one, on the third morning, I found this out. This was almost heartbreaking because I had just put coffee into my mug. And as I put the coffee into the mug, I noticed a stream of coffee coming out of the side of it. And so I definitely had to um, quickly dump that back into my pot so I didn't lose my coffee. This one I've had for about 5 years. And this is also kind of my fault, although I think as much as I use my gear and as hard as I use my gear, I think 5 years is a really. Oh, don't worry, the coffee was saved. Only a small amount was lost in the process. Um, I may be old, but when my coffee is falling on the ground, my reflexes are lightning fast. Um, but this one, so what happened with this is I was actually painting the night before, and I thought it would be a good idea to only use part of the cup so that I could get my paintbrush in and out there easier. And so I did it like this, and I set it on a granite rock. And because of that, I think it slid across the rock and it gouged out the really thin areas where it folds. I can't really be mad at it because, again, I've had it for a long time. And that area is just over time, and no matter how strong this material is, it's going to get wore out. So this one, I did replace this, shockingly exactly the same color, just a different color ring. It does feel like they made the material a little bit thicker, but this is my absolute favorite cup, and I just won't get rid of it. The Tokes did really good as a stand-in mug, but you know what? That is going to be there. And I will probably repair the Canuck bag, but I do have to make a guilty confession in that I get a discount in the shop, and we sell the Canuck bags. And I wasn't sure how long I was going to have before I needed another one, so I just bought another one. So I'll just have two. Thank you so much, Tangent Trails. That means a lot. This is exactly my grand total second painting that I've ever done. And it's definitely more for, I think I got more out of the process of painting it than I did actually the finished product, although I like the finished product. But it was really awesome. Like, first off, I really liked, this is one of this place you'll see in the next video. It's actually the second place we camped. It's called September Morn Lake. It's very special place for me. I have a lot of really cool memories there. I think I talked a little bit about them. I can't remember if I mentioned them in the video or not. So I wanted my first actual in-place painting to be of that place. And it definitely makes you notice things that you don't necessarily notice before. So for me, the act of painting out there was really cathartic in the sense that, I definitely was able to observe things a lot more and have an even more deeper connection to the area. So, um, but yeah, so I really appreciate that. Means a lot. I could see where that would be a problem. I haven't had any major spills, but again, generally speaking, my mug is either used for measuring out or for carrying coffee, and spilling coffee is a cardinal sin. So that may explain why I haven't spilled too much. So thanks. That is a huge, huge, huge compliment. I don't. I don't know if it's worthy of it, but I definitely appreciate it. Again, my imposter syndrome is pretty high. So, but yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. It's a neat way to do it a little bit more in the hobby. So I think as I get older, my creative side comes out even heavier. So it's been really a lot of fun in that sense. So any other questions? I did say that I was going to talk about the bear spray story. So I don't know if Mike's in here or not, but the bear spray story. So what happened was this particular trail is not a complete circle or loop. Um, it excuse me, has a very small shuttle. And I don't own a car currently. I'm working on that, but I currently own a car. And so we only had one car, and that was Hot Pants. And so we decided to park his car at the end. That way we knew that it would be there when we got there. And then we had a friend of ours, excuse me, she actually came with us and then drove us to the start point. So when we jumped into the car, we threw all of our gear into the car that we took to the beginning, but I have a small ditty bag that I carry with me that I leave in my end vehicle, that has a change of clothes and different things in it that I need after the trail. And I remembered that I needed to have that at the end of the trail, so I quickly threw that into um, Hot Pants' truck, and then we jumped in and everything, picked him up, took off to the other trail. And as we were getting everything ready, we were using our last opportunity to use the porcelain throne and everything. It dawned on me that when I was carrying everything out to the car, I had put my bear spray into my end of the trip bag, and it was still in my end of the trip bag, and that it was at the end of the trail, not at the beginning of the trail where we were. So we did have bear spray. However, we only had one can of bear spray amongst the three of us, which is not generally advisable in grizzly country. However, weighing out the odds, I've done this trail 3 times, and I've never seen any signs of bear on this particular trail. Not to say that it doesn't happen, but generally speaking, it's pretty rare. And the main reason for that is this is a very well-known trail. There are a lot of humans there, and it seems like, at least in the Yellowstone River corridor area, most of the grizzlies just really avoid the humans. In fact, the only grizzly encounter I've had since I moved out here on trail actually happened quite a ways away, at a place called the Stillwater River Trail, which is currently closed, unfortunately, because of flooding. It doesn't see a lot of people, and so therefore it does see a lot of bear activity. I've seen multiple black bears and multiple signs of grizzly, and then we did actually see a grizzly about 50 feet in front of us, coming down the trail as we came around a bend. But it very fortunately hot-tailed itself right off the trail as soon as it saw us. So they generally do not want anything to do with us. In fact, the vast majority of our bear encounters that end badly for people out here are usually people who are trying not to get noticed. It was more close than I would have liked, but again, it definitely took off really quickly. And I think that's because we made noise. There were multiple of us. We had satellite communicators and bear spray, so we had all the precautions, at least on that trip. And we had most of the precautions on this trip, just not as much as I would have liked. So, but I trusted that Hot Pants would have our backs if we had any issue, and we did not. So it ended up being mostly okay. But we definitely still had satellite communicators. We were in a group. We were making noise, and excuse me, I think it was pretty mundane. Actually, I have to say that grizzlies definitely have my attention, but moose scare me the most. I've had more moose charges than I care to ever have again. So, but yes, all in all, the trip was awesome, and it really is one of my absolute favorite places to go. If any of you ever get a chance to come out this way and you want to hit up the Sundance Pass, let me know, and I'll be happy to take you on there. This is a trail that I could do every season if I really wanted to. And who knows, maybe I will. I just won't film it every single time because I'm sure those are going to get repetitive. So, all right. Well, I think we're coming up on 20 minutes, and I appreciate that you guys have put up with my rambling for this long. So, last call for questions. I'm hoping to have the next video edited by next week. No guarantees on that because, again, I work a full-time schedule, and I refuse to edit video if I don't feel like doing it, because I feel like if I force it, it shows in the video. So I definitely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't like to force it, so that's why I don't really have a set video schedule. Hey, Try Duty, no worries, man. I understand. I hope you get a chance to watch the video. You didn't miss a whole lot other than me just babbling. And thanks again, Melissa. You are far too kind. I think I probably would have stopped watching myself by now. But I really appreciate it. I hope you guys like this new this format, and if you do, let me know in the comments or whatever. And also if there's a better night, I just arbitrarily picked Wednesday because of how I finished out the video. But if there's a better night, let me know. I'll see if I can work it in the schedule. So yeah. Also, I don't know if everybody's seen it yet or not. But my buddy Tri Duty is going to be hiking the John Muir Trail here very soon. I'm incredibly jealous. That has always been one of my lifelong goals. I definitely want to do it. So I hope you have a great trip, man. You're going to do awesome. So thank you very much, Melissa. I definitely enjoy having you guys along. You guys are awesome. I love the community that we have built up here, and I just hope it continues to grow. All right, guys, well, have a great night. And if you guys have any other questions, you know how to get a hold of me. And thanks again for hanging out. Have a great rest of your evening.